Thank you. You know, for so long, we've talked about strength in very simple terms. As something you project. Something unshakable. But what if true strength, the kind that builds unbreakable bonds, comes not from ignoring our vulnerabilities, but from understanding them with great compassion? Today, I want to speak from the heart about a transformative idea, that to love fully, we must see clearly, and part of that clear sight is understanding the often unspoken, hidden vulnerabilities that the women in our lives may carry, not as flaws, but as human truths that, when met with empathy, can lead to profound connection. Let us begin with the first and perhaps most pervasive understanding, the exhausting weight of the do-it-all mandate. This is far more than a busy schedule or a long to-do list. It is an invisible narrative, a silent script, playing in the mind that ties a woman's worth directly to her ability to perform, to provide, and to perfect. It whispers that she must be the unwavering career woman, the endlessly patient partner, the present and creative parent, the meticulous homemaker, and the supportive friend, all without visible effort. The hidden vulnerability here is not an inability to manage time. It is the profound exhaustion that comes from a belief system that says, if I stop, if I ask for help, if something is imperfect, I am failing. This mandate creates a relentless mental load, a constant background hum of anticipation and orchestration. It is remembering the birthday cards and the doctor's appointments. It is knowing what is in the refrigerator and what each person needs emotionally to get through the day. It is the planning, the worrying, the organizing that happens long before any action is taken. The great irony and the great sorrow is that this work is often completely invisible until it is not done. When a man looks at a household and sees calm, he may simply see calm. What he may not see is the intricate web of thought and effort that maintains that calm. The hidden weakness, therefore, is the fear that this web is all that holds everything together, and that she alone is its architect. To understand this is to look beyond the surface of competence. It is to see the person behind the performance. It means recognizing that offering to take a task is not enough. The true gift is to take ownership of it entirely, to lift that specific thread from her web without requiring her management. It is to say through action, your value is not in what you produce for me or for this family. Your value is in your being. You can rest. The world we are building together will not fall apart if you set down the weight you carry. I am here to carry it with you, not just to watch you carry it. This understanding begins not with a solution, but with a quiet, observant empathy that seeks to lighten the invisible load before the body and spirit buckle under its constant, heavy presence. Let us move to the second profound understanding, the prison of being liked. This is a socialization so deep and so pervasive it often operates below the level of conscious thought. From a young age, many girls are subtly and not so subtly taught that their safety, their social standing, and their very acceptability are contingent upon their pleasantness, their agreeability, their ability to smooth edges and not make waves. The hidden vulnerability here is a lifelong conditioning that conflates being good with being quiet, that mistakes niceness for kindness. This creates an internal conflict where a woman's authentic voice, her honest opinion, her rightful anger, or her simple no, must first pass through a filter of perceived consequence. If I say this, will I be seen as difficult? If I set this boundary, will I be labeled aggressive or cold? If I prioritize my need, will I be abandoned? This is the silent calculus of the prison. The weakness is not a lack of conviction. It is the exhausting, daily work of policing the self to remain within the narrow confines of what is deemed likable. It can manifest as an apology, where none is needed, a smile that hides discomfort, or a silent agreement that screams inside. In relationships, this can be particularly corrosive. A man may see easy compliance and assume harmony, not realizing it is often a costly peace bought with her suppression. He may wonder why resentment seems to appear from nowhere, not seeing its slow accumulation each time she chose harmony over honesty. To understand this is to recognize the immense courage it takes for a woman to express a contrary thought, or to place a boundary with you. It is to see that what might look like a simple act of assertion is, for her, an act of profound bravery against a lifetime of training. The response in that moment is everything. To meet her authenticity with defensiveness or dismissal is to reinforce the prison walls, to confirm her deepest fear that her true self is not welcome. To meet it with curiosity and respect, however, is to offer a key. It is to communicate, I am not afraid of your strength. I am not threatened by your truth. I like you, but more importantly, I respect you, and respect requires the real you, not a performance you think I require. This understanding invites a man to create a space so safe for disagreement and dissent that she can finally, gradually, set down the heavy mask of pleasantry. It asks him to value the rough, edged truth over the smooth facade, to choose a genuine partnership with a real person over the easier company of a silent echo. It is in that space of earned safety that true intimacy, built on mutual authenticity, can finally and gloriously begin to grow. Let us now explore the third vital understanding, the invisible armor of emotional labor. This extends far beyond completing household tasks or remembering important dates. Emotional labor is the constant, often unnoticed work of managing the emotional climate of a home or a relationship. It is the act of anticipating needs, soothing tensions before they erupt, reading unspoken moods, and orchestrating harmony. It is the cognitive and emotional burden of remembering that a certain topic is sore for one person, or that a particular tone of voice signals distress in another. The hidden vulnerability here is the sheer depletion this constant vigilance creates. A woman may be physically present and seemingly at ease, yet beneath that calm surface her mind is actively processing a stream of emotional data and making micro adjustments to maintain equilibrium. The weakness is not in the caring but in the unsustainable expectation that she will be the perpetual emotional thermostat for everyone around her. When this labor goes unseen and unshared, it becomes a lonely and exhausting responsibility. She may begin to feel less like a partner and more like an emotional custodian, responsible for the feelings of others while her own well-being runs dry. To understand this is to learn to see the invisible work. It is to notice the effort behind the calm dinner, to recognize the mental list, making that happen silently beside you. It means moving from being a passive beneficiary of this emotional management to an active co-pilot in navigating the shared emotional space. It requires asking not just, what can I do? But, what are you carrying that I can help you hold? It is about sharing the load of worry and the work of anticipation. A man can step into this space by proactively managing his own emotional landscape, and by sensitively engaging with the feelings of others without being asked. It is in the sharing of this subtle, profound labor that a relationship moves from a dynamic of caregiver and care, receiver to one of true, resilient partnership. The armor then can be laid down, not because the world is perfectly safe, but because she knows she does not have to monitor its emotional weather alone. Now we must turn to the fourth powerful understanding, the quiet storm of unexpressed anger. In a world that has historically celebrated male anger as passion or strength, female anger is too often unfairly recast as irrational, hysterical, or simply unpleasant. This cultural script creates a devastating bind. When a woman feels the natural, human heat of anger rise within her, she is immediately confronted with a societal reflex that seeks to dismiss or diminish its validity. The hidden vulnerability is that this legitimate emotion, having no safe or respected outlet, does not simply vanish. It transforms. It turns inward, becoming a slow, burning fuel for anxiety, a sharp tool for self-criticism, or a bitter seed of deep-seated resentment. It may leak out as passive aggression, or be swallowed as a lump in the throat during a difficult conversation. What you witness, therefore, is rarely the pure, clear signal of the anger itself. You see the symptoms of its containment. You may encounter a withdrawn silence, where there should be a fiery debate, or a tearful frustration where there should be a firm boundary. The storm is quiet because it has been forced underground, where it churns and erodes the landscape of her spirit. To understand this is to realize that her anger is not a failure of composure, but often a signal of a violated boundary, an unmet need, or a profound injustice. It is data. It is information about a hurt or a value that has been transgressed. The courageous act for a man is not to fear this anger or to rush to fix it, but to create a container strong enough to hold it. It is to listen past the tone, which may be shaky from disuse, and to hear the message. It is to respond not with defensiveness but with a simple, grounding question. What is this anger trying to protect? What value of yours feels threatened here? In that moment of compassionate inquiry, you perform a miraculous alchemy. You transform her anger from a source of isolation into a bridge of profound communication. You tell her that her fire is not a threat to your bond, but a vital part of her humanity that you are willing to witness. You offer her the profound relief of being fully seen, even in her fury, and you grant that storm a dignified passage out of the shadows and into the light of your shared understanding. Let us examine the fifth essential understanding. Help me, without me asking. Dilemma. This is a profound vulnerability rooted in the deep human longing to be fully seen and known. It transcends mere task, sharing, and strikes at the very heart of feeling valued and considered. The dilemma is this: when a woman must constantly delegate, instruct, or manage her partner's contributions to their shared life, it can secretly feel like a relational failure. The unspoken thought is heartbreaking in its simplicity. If I have to ask, it doesn't count. This is not about an unwillingness to communicate needs. It is about the exhaustion of being the perpetual project manager of intimacy and domestic life. It is about the emotional weight of that mental load we spoke of earlier. The hidden wound is the subtle message it sends that her partner is a helper awaiting instructions, rather than a fellow architect invested in the blueprints of their life together. When she must ask, the act of helping can feel transactional, a favor completed, rather than an expression of shared ownership and proactive care. The vulnerability lies in the quiet erosion of the feeling of being a true team. She may begin to feel more like a supervisor than a partner, a role that is lonely and antithetical to intimacy. To understand this is to grasp the powerful language of proactive engagement. It is moving from a model of, you tell me what to do, to one of, I see what needs doing because this is my life too. It is studying the rhythms of the home not as a guest but as a co-owner. It means noticing the empty soap dispenser and refilling it, seeing the emotional fatigue in her eyes, and taking the children out for the afternoon, anticipating the grocery run before the cupboard is bare. This is love spoken in the dialect of attention and action. It demonstrates that you are present not just physically but mentally and emotionally invested in the ecosystem of your shared existence. It communicates, I see you. I see the work it takes to build this life, and I am building it with you, not for you. This shift from passive assistance to active partnership is perhaps one of the most tangible ways to translate love from a feeling into a daily, living reality. It tells her she is not alone in the arena. It is the silent, powerful answer to her deepest longing to have a teammate who is truly watching the same game, committed to playing it side by side. Now we arrive at the sixth understanding, the duality of being both strong and soft. This is a cultural tightrope walk that imposes a paralyzing double bind. A woman receives powerful yet conflicting messages. She is told she must be resilient and independent, a pillar of unwavering strength capable of navigating a complex world. Simultaneously, she is instructed to remain nurturing and open, a source of gentle comfort and agreeable warmth. The hidden vulnerability is the impossible tension between these poles. If she leans too far into her strength, she risks being perceived as cold, intimidating, or difficult. If she leans too far into her softness, she may be dismissed as weak, incapable, or overly emotional. This forces a constant, exhausting calibration of her being. She may compartmentalize, showing one face to the world and another in private, or she may feel a deep sense of fraudulence, fearing that her authentic self is somehow inherently wrong. In relationships, this can manifest as confusion. A partner may celebrate her competence in one moment, yet withdraw from her assertiveness in the next, leaving her feeling punished for the very strength he claimed to admire. To understand this is to offer her the precious gift of wholeness. It is to actively reject the false choice and to cherish the full spectrum of her humanity. It means valuing her clear-eyed resilience as much as her tender compassion. It is creating a space where she can be the decisive leader and the vulnerable partner, sometimes in the same hour, without fear of losing your respect or your affection. You communicate through your consistent admiration. You do not have to choose with me. I am not afraid of your power, and I am honored by your trust. Your strength makes me feel secure, and your softness makes me feel loved. I see all of you, and I cherish the complete and contradictory person you are. This acceptance is the solid ground beneath the tightrope, allowing her to finally step down and simply stand, gloriously whole, beside you. Let us remember that this journey of understanding is not about wielding new knowledge as a tool for dissection. It is about extending an invitation into a more compassionate and connected way of being. It is a call to move from observation to empathy, from hearing to truly listening, from sharing a life to sharing a sacred emotional space. When a man chooses to see these hidden dimensions, not as weaknesses to be solved, but as human truths to be honored, he does something revolutionary. He builds a harbor where her whole self can finally dock. He replaces judgment with curiosity, and fear with steadfastness. He transforms everyday moments into opportunities to say, without a single word, "You are safe here. You are seen here. All of you is welcome here." This is the foundation upon which unshakable trust and boundless intimacy are built. It is how we move beyond the surface and into the profound, beautiful depths of a love that allows every heart to beat freely, fully known, and utterly beloved.